Hello again, my beautiful unconventional conventionalists. So today I have something special for you. I have an announcement, and then I have some homework. Hear me out, hear me out. So the announcement is that I am presently enrolled in Headmistress Bella Blue's Like a Virgin Burlesque workshop. And it's not just me either. My good friends and fellow dancers, Mophonics and Cacophony, are also attending this semester. The three of us, along with about, 15, 20 other dancers, are all being guided under Headmistress Bella Blue herself. She is teaching us the art of traditional burlesque as she knows it, and anybody who has the honor of doing that is going to learn a lot, and their abilities are going to be amplified and improved substantially. Now here's where the homework part comes in. Headmistress Bella Blue, between each weekly class, assigns homework for her students, and between weeks 1 and 2, our assignment was to look up and find a burlesque legend that inspires us. And after about 30 minutes or so of searching, I found the ideal role model for myself, and that is Christine Jorgensen, the world's first publicly transsexual showgirl and model. So without further ado, I would like to read my homework to you guys, because it actually is really interesting and honestly really inspiring too. So here it is. I have chosen to do my burlesque legend report on Christine Jorgensen. She was the first transsexual burlesque performer. Born May 30th, 1926 as George William Jorgensen Jr., she was drafted into the U.S. Army at age 19. Upon returning from service to her home state of New York, she awakened to her true identity and began estrogen intake in her early 20s. Upon hearing of sex reassignment surgery, she traveled to Sweden where, at the time, the only doctors licensed for such an extensive surgery resided. She recovered and continued her estrogen treatment in Denmark. In the 1940s, Christine took occupation as a model and showgirl, never making any secret of her origins. By 1952, Christine had gained public notice, featured dozens of newspapers and radio shows over the decade. She chose to use her public platform to speak of sexual identity and the need for equalization of the trans community. People were listening. During her prime, such a thing as an attractive trans woman was unheard of. She did face plenty of discrimination, such as frequent rejection to attend celebrity-based game shows. However, her voice was heard strongest where it really mattered, the young college students. Through her dance career, she remained humble and never forgot those who helped her get to the top.
In the news once again is Christine Jorgensen, shown being honored by the Scandinavian Societies of Greater New York at their annual ball and named as Woman of the Year, she modestly disclaims the credit for her accomplishment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Berlin. I want to say how deeply I am touched by this honor that has been given to me tonight, but I feel that those who should have been with us and were unable to be here are the ones that are really responsible for my success. That's my doctors and my friends. Thank you again.
She was also good at laughing along with light humor in reference to her transition, such as New York radio host Barry Garrett introducing her with the line, "Our guest today is Christine Jorgensen. Went abroad and came back abroad." In 1967, following the death of her parents, she took permanent residence at her father's ranch in California. For the final 20 years of her life, Christine traveled to many college campuses and talk shows to speak about transsexualism and gender equality. Shortly before her death of lung cancer on May 3, 1989, one of her final quotes were as follows, "I may not have started the sexual revolution, but I sure gave it a much-needed swift kick in the pants." Christine Jorgensen not only inspires me because she was the first transsexual showgirl, but also because of how open she was about it. Having begun transition at a young age, Christine did not look trans. She could have passed as a cis woman, but she decided to use her platform to push along the revolution for trans equality and played a vital role in getting it where it is today. Christine was two things that I strive to be myself: a talented showgirl and a strong leader for the trans community. They say that everyone actually dies twice. The first time when you stop breathing, and the second when people stop mentioning your name. The legacy that Christine Jorgensen kicked along will continue, and I will do all that I can to move it along even further. Thank you, Christine Jorgensen, for being true to yourself and for teaching the present generation how to do the same.
But I find on the college campuses, it's incredible. The acceptance is marvelous.
Well, how do they view you? As an enigma, as an oddity, as someone to be studied, or what do they look to?
No, they're fascinated. They're fascinated because we have come into an era of identification, human identification, not only just sexual identity, but who am I? I think the world is far more complex now than it was when I was young. And so the younger generation, they want to find out, where do I belong in this world? And by the same token, like my grandnieces and nephews, sometimes they came up to me and I bought them bionic dolls. The arms come off and the legs come off. By today's standard, Christine is very old hat. Because they've got the heart transplants, the liver transplants. You take the face off the doll and it's all electronics. The world has run way ahead of me. In fact, I don't even try to keep up.
Yeah, well then do you see yourself as some sort of a pioneer in the sense that you give youngsters on the college level the courage perhaps to look further into who am I?
Yes.
Where am I in this world?
I think that's what they respect mostly from me, is they feel, they've stated it openly, that they felt that I did my own thing during a period when people were not doing their own thing. They were conforming to patterns that a society had said you are and you must do. And I did my own thing, and I've got to admit, I did it only for myself. I had no idea it was going to affect the rest of the world.